Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 17 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We're just jumping into things. I, of course, am using the team that I brought to the Anaheim Regional Championships this past weekend, where I finished 9th. It's a really fun team, and as I mentioned in the previous episodes, I have a pretty busy week coming ahead of me, so I'm not going to be able to get a new team in-game and build a new team. So hopefully you guys don't mind it too much. I will be switching to a new team probably next week, but I really need to get through the next couple of days. Sorry for the late upload times as well. I'm just trying to find whatever spare time that I do have in the day to record, since I've got a bunch of exams coming up. But yeah, hopefully you guys don't mind it too much. Thank you for watching the content, and apologies for missing a couple of days. I really, like I mentioned, this week is just super slow, but once I get through this, there should be some more exciting stuff coming your way. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please show support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. In addition, I think I have mentioned this already in the last couple of episodes, but I will be competing in a really cool online invitational tournament this weekend, sponsored by Geico, called the Geico Invitational. If you're interested in more details, check it out in the description below. There are a ton of incredible players playing in it, literally some of the best to ever play VGC, like Wolf Eaglix, Sejum Park, Marcus Thatcher, just to name a couple. So really honored to be part of that tournament, and I'll give it my all this weekend. We'll be commentating it as well, so should be a fun run. And we're just going to look for our first opponent of the day, still hovering in the 1900s, and hopefully we can get matched up with someone soon, because matchmaking at this point almost always takes about forever. But we actually do get someone, a 1791 rated opponent from Japan. So, wow, what the heck is that team? That's really cool. Some of the Pokemon I've never seen really used in this format at all. Sableye is something that has been used historically in VGC. Definitely has had some good finishes, but it's definitely kind of a more niche Pokemon because it isn't the most consistent prankster user. So there's obviously a very electric type focus in my opponent's team. The Electivire sticks out the most to me. I honestly have no idea what that does. I know it's like decently fast and it can absorb electric type attacks with its ability, but other than that I really am not too sure. There's a Garchomp, a Aerodactyl, a Ninetales, and a Sableye. So if I can get Trick Room up in this game, that'd be really great, but my chances of getting Trick Room up don't seem amazing here, and there's undoubtedly a taunt user on that team, presumably the Arcanine, or excuse me, the Aerodactyl or the Sableye there. So let's see what I want to lead with. Porygon still feels like a good lead because offensively it threatens a lot of my opponent's team, so I like that. I'm definitely going to want Gigalith in this game, but I'm probably going to want to keep it in the back. I think as a lead, I actually like Arcanine because my opponent's team is somewhat physically based, especially the Garchomp and the Aerodactyl. So if I can get an Intimidate off there, that'd be really good for me. I'm going to want Gigalith in the back, and for the last two, I think I could go with either Feeny or Muck. Feeny makes my time against Sableye a little bit easier, but it does struggle against the electric types. Meanwhile, Muck can take the electric type attacks a little bit better, but it does threaten threatened a lot by Garchomp, and yeah, I don't have too many issues playing with Garchomp, but because there is the potential taunt on my opponent's team, I think I'm going to bring Feeny here, just so I have multiple ways to deal with it, because if my opponent somehow denies me of Trick Room, and I bring Muck, then I've got Muck, Gigalith, and Arcanine, and without Trick Room, then I'm really suffering. So, obviously I'm going to have to try to play around the potential taunts from my opponent's team, so I might not be setting up Trick Room immediately, but I feel like I have the resources to play outside of Trick Room as well, especially because Porygon 2 is a pretty big offensive threat against a lot of Pokemon on my opponent's team. So we actually see the Sableye Xurkitree lead here from my opponent, which is definitely really scary because, you know, Sableye gets access to Fake Out, so it definitely could be going for a Fake Out. You have to think it's got to be a little bit worried about Taunt. I get a special attack increase, which is quite nice as well. So because I'm offensive Arcanine, I think I'm actually just going to go straight for a Trick Room and a Flare Blitz. This is basically saying, okay, you have to commit to one of my two Pokemon. You either Fake Out the Arcanine and let me get my Trick Room up, or you taunt Porygon or Fake it out, and I can just get a Flare Blitz off. Unless Xurkitree here is, like, Scarfed. So he does go for the Fake Out. Onto Porygon, okay. And I do just get the Life Orb Flare Blitz off. This might just one-shot Xurkitree, because Xurkitree's defenses are quite poor. Yeah, it does. Nice. So that's one of the reasons why I switched over to a more offensive Arcanine. A lot of people don't expect it. Xurkitree is not a Pokemon we've seen too much of, really. But, yeah, being able to one-shot it there, that's huge, because I don't even get taunted. Arcanine's still putting on offensive pressure. Sableye is not a Pokemon that can do too much offense other than Foul Play. So, perfect turn one for me there. I made that play knowing he could only target one of my two Pokemon, and Xurkitree most likely would be slower than me. We actually see the Electivire make an appearance, which is pretty cool. Not something you see every day. And it's Air Balloon Electivire. It's not too much of a concern because I've got Gigalith in the back. So I think I will just go straight for a Trick Room here. And given that it's Air Balloon, I mean, yeah, I don't see a reason not to Flare Blitz Electivire. I brought Feeny in the back, so Moonblast will take quick work of Sableye, so I just want to get rid of the threats to Feeny. Circuitry is obviously the biggest one. Electivire also a threat here. But, yeah, I mean, I don't see much... Okay, we do see a Protect, so if Sableye taunts my Porygon, I suppose that could give him something. But we don't see a taunt coming out. It's probably going to be a foul play, which I'm perfectly fine with. Yep, there's the foul play, because I can just Extreme Speed next turn. Ooh, that actually knocks me out. So, the knockout's kind of annoying. I could have just Flare Blitz the Sableye slot. The reason why the knockout's annoying is because he can burn me, but actually I have a pretty clever way around that. No, I could switch Porygon out into Feeny, but maybe I don't even mind getting burned right now, because who could he have in the back? Garchomp, Aerodactyl, and Arcanine, or Ninetales. And Feeny plus Porygon beats any of those, so I don't even mind if he Will-O-Wisps me right now. So I will honestly just try attack and go for a Continental Crush onto Electivire. Yeah. Sableye doesn't really threaten me offensively. Other than, I mean, it does have Foul Play, which we've seen, I guess. He doesn't even go for a Will-O-Wisp. Okay, so this Continental Crush will just one-shot the Electivire. He's probably going for a Foul Play. So maybe I should have Ice Beamed instead, because, yeah, I wasn't sure if +1 Ice Beam plus Burn Continental Crush would knock out the Electivire, so I went for the safer Tri Attack. I think I should have this game at this point, because Trick Room is set up, and I've got Porygon and Feeny in the back, so even if he Foul Plays me, like, I still threaten with damage next turn. So unfortunately, didn't really get to see what this Electivire does, or that Circuitry, but my opponent did end up bringing all really unique Pokemon. So yep, Tri Attack, unfortunately not affecting the Sableye. That's really not too much of a concern though. He will get a big Foul Play off here. It's going to do a ton of damage to Gigalith. But Gigalith is bulky enough because it is max HP investment, so we'll be able to survive 2 more of those, which is good. The play I was thinking of is just switching Porygon out into Feeny, but I do want the special attack increase, because that means I 2-shot, or like I 1-shot the Garchomp here, for example. And that's a big deal. So yeah, with Feeny in the back, definitely feel happy about my decision to bring Feeny. I think I'll just Rock Slide here and Ice Beam in case he's Sash with Chomp. So yeah, even if Trick Room, like, he manages to solve Trick Room here, I think I've got this, but I still have many turns of Trick Room left, so basically I think my opponent was really expecting to maybe chain a knockout immediately there with Circuitry. Maybe Circuitry a taunt as well. But with Sableye just allowing me to get that Trick Room up, even though it was a good knockout onto Arcanine, it actually allowed me to get a free switch into Gigalith. And this team, like, one reason why I ended up using Gigalith on this team was because Porygon 2 plus Gigalith is really strong. He is going to go for the Quash, though, but targeting the Gigalith instead of the Porygon, which is a curious decision. I think if you target down the Porygon, you can maybe hope for a critical hit with Earthquake or with the Z move. As actually Ice Beam just crits Garchomp there. Maybe he's Assault Vested, so maybe I got lucky with that crit, but I'm not sure if I really quite agree with the Quash onto the Gigalith, even if you are Assault Vested. I suppose if you're AV, though, then there's nothing you can do, because, yeah, Ice Beam 2-shots you anyway. But this is a pretty clear-cut game of Trick Room going up and just kind of sweeping from there. And my opponent had a really cool team, but maybe he wasn't anticipating, you know, obviously, like, I think the Arcanine knocking out Circuitry just immediately set me up a huge amount. And one of the reasons why, you know, Sableye is a really cool Pokemon, but it's really hard to use is because it often doesn't offer much more other than, you know, its support role. For example, other Prankster users in VGC history, especially Thundurus. I mean, Thundurus is one that's been used in every year that it's been allowed, and it's dominated every time it's been in the format. And that's a good reason, because you can play Thundurus with a mix of offense and defense. So, for example, Thundurus often carry attacks like Taunt, Swagger, and Thunder Wave, but they also carry attacks like Thunderbolt, Hidden Power, Ice, you know, etc. So, having that mix is really good because they can take hits, but also, you know, constantly offers damage. Sableye, of course, does offer a little bit of damage with Foul Play, and that was actually a significant amount to Arcanine and Gigalith, but it really couldn't touch Porygon, and my opponent's team was rather Porygon weak. That's why, you know, one of the reasons why I like Porygon so much in this format and why it's been a staple to the last couple of teams that I've been using, you know, just with minor adjustments, is because people, I think, really underestimate how strong it is offensively, especially if it gets a special attack increase, and that really pays dividends against, you know, some of the faster, more offensive Pokemon in this format, like Garchomp, like Tapu Koko. If you looked at my opponent's team composition, I mean, there was a Garchomp, an Aerodactyl, a Ninetales. Those are all Pokemon where Porygon can, you know, eat its attacks up, recover up, and then just dish out 2-hit knockouts left and right. Of course, in order to do that, it has to either set up Trick Room or not get flinched or be able to recover. So I think my lead pretty much covered for the options that I had there. Really, I'm wondering what item Circuitry had there, though. If I had to guess, it was maybe Choice Specs or Life Orb, and I think my opponent might have wanted to maybe chain Life Orb Thunderbolts off. With Quash, you can actually really disrupt, because Quash is able to, as we saw in the end there, I didn't mention it, but Quash is able to make you move last. So that makes some sense with Circuitry, because Circuitry is relatively slow, so if you can quash the Pokemon that it normally is outsped by, then you can get a Hidden Power Ice off or a Thunderbolt against, and you don't maybe need that speed boosting item. So another play my opponent could have gone for on that first turn was going for a Quash onto my Arcanine and Thunderbolting, but obviously when you see Arcanine, you have no idea what kind of set it is, and a lot of players often assume it's a little bit more defensive, excuse me, as we can't find someone, so we're just going to go back onto it. But yeah, with the more defensive Arcanine, you know, Arcanine's not going to be much of a threat, so you don't see much reason to target that. So, yeah. Oh, 1587 rated opponent from Japan. You guys don't realize I have spent literally 15 minutes trying to find a game. I cut off, obviously, the waiting time, but it took me 5 tries of getting off and back on after saying no opponent could be found. So I'm excited to finally get someone, and this is actually a really cool team. The Metagross and Lele combinations on my opponent's team, that's one of my favorite cores to play with. Obviously, I used it in the beginning of the season, but surrounding that is Arcanine, Gastrodon, the Mandibuzz, and the Goodra. So lots of interesting picks here. And this is definitely going to be a pretty tough team to play against, I think. Especially because of... there's so many reasons why this is going to be scary, actually. Let's see, though. So, immediately, one thing I can tell you is that when I used Metagross lately, I struggled a lot against Feeny and Muck. Actually, Feeny wasn't even that popular in the metagame at that point, so that wasn't a major threat. But I'm going to have to watch out for that Gastrodon, and my main way of dealing with Gastrodon is actually to just kind of Calm Mind up in front of it, because it can't really do anything in return to me. I still like Porygon as a lead, because it kind of just, you know, disrupts my opponent and gives me the Trick Room option should I go for it immediately. I think I'm going to go Feeny and Muck, Feeny as a lead in case my opponent goes with the Lele for Psychic Terrain. The last one's kind of a tricky call. Gigalith is very tempting, as is Garchomp. It's really between the two. I think I'm actually going to go with Garchomp for this one. While I like Gigalith, it doesn't do that much to Metagross, and Metagross is a big enough threat that I do think I have to watch out for it. Garchomp also gives me the Z move, which does a ton of damage, if not just one-shots the Gastrodon. So, yeah. Glad I finally found the game, but yeah, this is why, like I was saying, like laddering can be pretty tedious sometimes, especially when you're a little bit higher up on the ladder. Finding opponents just it takes forever. I guess it's similar to like other games like League though, where it's like it tries to match you against people around your elo. But okay, we see the Arcanine Lele lead here, so I'm pretty content about this. The whole reason why I led with Feeny was to disrupt Lele, and I will get the Misty Terrain up here, which is nice. However, I don't know exactly what kind of Arcanine set that is. You know, I was running like Electrium Z Arcanine. I don't really think that'll be the case on my opponent's team, especially because I'm actually faster than Arcanine based off the way the abilities worked out. And that one probably gives me attack here. Yeah. So I don't mind that too much. I think I have a relatively safe play of just switching into Muck. Question is whether I want to attack with Feeny or not here. I think I'm going to protect this first turn just to scout out for what he does, because he could have the Z move still, and I kind of want him to waste that if possible. But Lele actually switches out, so it's probably Gastrodon coming in here. Yeah. That's okay with me. The only fear is if he has Ground EMZ. Now, they don't normally do, but that could be a problem if he does. So I could have Calm Minded there, or Muddy Water. We'll see what Arcanine goes for. Either way, Arcanine's not in a great spot right now, especially with the Misty Terrain up. Yeah, he just went for the Snarl, which makes a lot of sense. So, Calm Minding there would have only increased my special defense. Wouldn't have done too much. Okay. So, with this opportunity, it's likely, like, he could very well switch Gastrodon back out into Lele and go for a Will-O-Wisp. That definitely could happen. So, I mean, I could play it safe by protecting Muck this turn. Kind of like that. I want to switch into Garchomp, but I have the fear of getting Ice Beamed on a switch in. So I think this one I'm just going to protect Calm Mind. Scout out for what he does, see if the Lele does come back in. And, yeah, I actually go before the Arcanine, too. I forgot about that. So Muddy Water would have done some nice damage there, but I don't mind making the Protect play there. And he stays in with both. Okay, that's good. Unless he's like offensive Gastrodon with like Life Orb Sludge Bomb. That could be bad. Well, so after this turn we'll see if any Z moves come out. I think Gastrodon could have the Z ground type attack with Fissure. So he's just gonna Snarl me, but that's fine. Now special defense increases are huge against Gastrodon and Lele in the back. Ooh, he's stockpiled though. That's annoying. That's quite bad actually. Okay, but that means he's not going to want to switch that Gastrodon out at this point, which means I could kind of just freely... Like, Arcanine's not doing any damage to me right now, so I'll gladly trade... Like, I'll allow him to stockpile while I Calm Mind up. Actually, maybe I don't really like that. I'm going to knock off here to see if he has an item. He could be Z stockpile, which is going to be annoying if it is. But I'll just keep Calm Minding to get the special defense increases. I wasn't actually really well equipped to deal with stockpile Gastrodon. Obviously, if I knock out Arcanine, then I can Calm Mind. He actually withdraws Gastrodon. Oh, great. So he's probably going to go into Lele, yeah. And I'm going to guess a Will-O-Wisp coming out onto the Muck slot, and I'm also going to guess that he is Psychium Z. But this means that I do have a +1 special attack, +2 special defense Feeny out. He could be going for a Snarl, which I would be fine with, because that means I don't get burned. I'm willing to take a burn here if it means getting that Calm Mind up. Oh, but he actually... Ooh, Toxic! Wow, that's not something you see every day. That's annoying, actually. What the heck? Oh, he's AV! Lele, what? That's also something you don't see every day. Okay, I'll take that. So I'm at +2 right now. Psychic shouldn't do too much damage. And he might switch out. I'm going to double up. I think he might switch back out into... Actually, maybe Muddy Watering isn't the worst world. Yeah, actually, I want to knock out Arcanine here. Do I? I'm going to Muddy Water and... knock off Arcanine, yeah. Because it can Snarl me, and that's annoying. And I'm faster than Arcanine. Yeah, he does withdraw Lele. Probably going back out into Feeny. Or, sorry. Oh, Metagross? Really? Wow, okay. Oh, probably trying to take the Poison Jab. And I hit Muddy Water, which is very nice. I'm going to plug in my DS real quick. Okay. Nice. Gets an accuracy drop, too. That's nice. Proxaberry. So yeah, this is prime positioning for Garchomp, for sure. So he does have the Citrus. He's going to just Snarl me. And Feeny actually avoids it, which is definitely unfortunate. So I do have to watch out now because Metagross, well, I can't use words today. Metagross is under Psychic Terrain today. I almost knocked off the Metagross slot as well, but that's okay. Obviously RNG a little bit fortunate so far with the Avoid. So we take those. Even if he's CB Metagross, he won't be able to knock my Muck out. I don't see much reason not to just... No, I should conserve Feeny here, though. I think I'm going to play it safe this turn. I'm going to knock off Metagross and protect with Feeny. Yeah, I like that. Because Metagross can't really... He withdraws Arcanine. Yeah, that's expected. Into Gastrodon, probably? Yeah. Gastrodon's definitely a threat. It probably doesn't have the Groundium Z. That was like a gimmick that I was worried about. Metagross protects. That was a good play. Well done by my opponent there. But I'm okay with that. I really didn't expect Toxic, though, on Arcanine. That was a clever solution. Wait, what? Flame Orb Gastrodon? Does it have, what's that move called when you swap it over? I mean, it probably does, right? See, I want to Moonblast and knock off Gastrodon because I've got Garchomp in the black. And I think I will do that. I'm fine sacrificing Feeny here if it means a free switch. And I guess he could protect Gastrodon here, but I'm going to guess that Gastrodon doesn't have protect. Basically, I want to get as much damage off onto this Gastrodon as possible before it's able to get a recover off. Psychium Z? He's Tectonic Raged? Are you kidding me? What? Wow. That's annoying because Muck is really good against my opponent's team. Okay. I need recovers with Gastron. Unbelievable. Nice play, nice play. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in Garchomp. Now the question is whether he swaps out to waste my Z move. I would if I were him. I definitely would if I were him. So we know he's not Z stockpile at least. But he could have Ice Beam as well. Ice Beam might not even knock me out though because he's obviously bulky. I think I'm gonna faint if I... Yeah. I'm gonna Earthquake and switch out into Porygon. Basically, the Arcanine in the back is what I'm worried about. Tectonic Rage Metagross. Ah! I was so worried about the Z move from Gastron, I didn't think Metagross would have it. And the Toxic Arcanine, jeez. It's probably an attack increase here, I think. Oh, it's special attack. That's actually huge. Oh, he just stays in with both. Ah. Well, that should knock out Metagross, hopefully. Yeah. Is he Ice Beaming me? Is he recovering? Is he stockpiling? Or... No, he does Ice Beam. Does that knock me out? Okay, it doesn't. And no freeze. Thank goodness. So... Okay. Okay. Getting the special attack increase on Porygon's very nice, though. I'm gonna bring in Arcanine. Also okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. We've seen Ice Beam, Stockpile, and Recover. I would guess Scald. Maybe he has Protect, though. That'd be mighty annoying. I'm gonna double up into Gastron this turn, I think, though. Because Porygon wins against Lele and Arcanine. Offensively. Oh, he could have Extreme Speed. Oh, he switches out. Okay. Did he Protect with Gastrodon, though? Does he have Protect? I don't know his fourth. I'm assuming it's not. Because bulkier Gastrodons typically don't. Okay. So that should be game, then. Oh my gosh. Tectonic Rage Metagross. You really gotta watch out for everything nowadays, man. Because Muk was really good against my opponent's team, especially if I had Misty Terrain up, because he couldn't burn me. Although I guess he didn't even have Will-O-Wisp on Muk. Still trying to understand the Flame Orb on Gastrodon. Maybe someone can explain that to me in the comments below. Yeah, nice. So, I knew that not Ice Beaming was probably fine. I guess if he had Bullet Punch on Metagross, that could have been kind of scary, because he could have doubled up into Garchomp, and even it knocked me out, actually. But I thought I was predicting the Arcanine switch in, because with that, then you could potentially survive the Tectonic Rage if you're at -1. Although evidently not the case. So, yeah. Maybe I should have just Tectonic Raged. No. Sorry. What I was fearing earlier was Gastrodon switching out into Arcanine and wasting my Z move, because I needed the Z move to basically one-shot the Gastrodon. So I'm glad I brought Garchomp here, because Gigalith would have made my match a lot harder, especially with Z stockpile on my opponent's team. So, yeah, I'm just going to shuffle in the Intimidate. Try Attack should knock out Arcanine, even at neutral, because he's probably going to snarl me here. Oh, that was a scary one. Toxic on Muk, or on Arcanine. Morning Sun, too. Wow. So Morning Sun, Will-O-Wisp, Snarl, or Toxic. I would guess a Fire type attack is the last one, so he probably doesn't have Will-O-Wisp. But Tri Attack actually, yeah, like, look at that damage output. That's absolutely nuts. So I can just Muddy Water Tri Attack and close it out. Man, really cool team, though, from my opponent. Some really interesting teams today. Yeah. I mean, I guess he could play for a miss, but Tri-Attack is doing pretty much nearly as much as he's healing back, and Garchomp can just come back in an Earthquake. I guess I could have just Earthquake there, but wanted to shuffle in the Intimidate, get a free switch into Feeny. Arcanine can't really touch Feeny if it doesn't have a Wild Charge anyway. Even if it does, Feeny's pretty bulky, so... We do end up picking another win here. That was a scary one, though, for sure, and a really cool team from my opponent. Both really cool teams in today's episode. So, yeah, glad we got to feature some cool stuff. But it's going to be it for this one. Sorry for the later upload times, as I mentioned. I'm super busy, so found like a free hour today in my schedule to get it, and it was a little bit later on in the day. But hopefully you guys don't mind, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. It's going to be it for this one. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright, peace.